All right. Hey, everybody. You know what time it is. It is Sipping with Sue time, and I am Szu-Moy, and we are live on Facebook and on YouTube as well. So if you have not gone over to YouTube to check out my channel, please subscribe and click the bell to get all of the latest content as soon as it is uploaded. So I am here today with my beautiful Brandy Greenbaum. Hello, cheers.
Hello, cheers.
Cheers. She's
Lovely to
got
see you this
water.
Friday.
You got
Hydrating.
water, right? Hydrating
Mm-hmm.
with Bucky's, and I'm actually so my sister gave me this beautiful like humongous wine glass, but I decided to fill it with kombucha because it's been a week and I'm gonna decompress from wine for today and have
It's
some
okay.
kombucha, some tea instead, and get a little bit of zen and stuff. So this week has been, I think, a very trying week for a lot of people, especially given the recent events that have happened in Texas. And so, mental health. I mean, it's ironic. It's May. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, um, but there's so many things going on, and it's not just something that we should highlight. I think, of course, in May, and we've talked about it before. Also, we talk about it. We need to continue to talk about it and talk about it often, but with the recent events and with so many things that are going on in life, mental health needs to just be something that's out in the forefront. And what prompted today for us to talk about mental health again was I had and you saw that too because you reached out. I had posted or shared a post on Facebook that had talked about anxiety and depression that my friend had posted. And so I actually, as you know, most posts are out there, you grab it, you share it, you copy paste it or whatever. And me being me, I read her post and it really, of course, touched me because it's something that I deal with. So what I did is I grabbed the post and I kind of finagled it in my words, of course. And I thought it was extremely important to share it. And kind of just sent it out into the ether, right? And then what came back was all these phone calls, all these text messages. Brandy's like, "Are you okay?" Everybody's like, "Are you okay? Are you doing okay?" Like, and what's again ironic is that I was actually doing okay when I shared it. But that's why we need to have this conversation, is because not every time that I share something or that you see that I post or whatever it is out on. I mean, I'm not going to post my ugly times, my ugly crying in a crumpled up ball in the corner times. I should probably, and then maybe I'll go live during one of my episodes and everybody can see what Szu-Moy is really doing and what she's really dealing with. But but yeah, it was overwhelming, the response, and it's just something that I wanted to share. That you know, there's days that I'm super okay, and there's days that you're super okay. I'm sure
Yeah.
for that moment, but then in the next minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes or the next 30 minutes or the next day, you could be really not fine and really not okay. And so I just wanted to talk about that too. And you've been going through some issues too. And so, how have you been dealing with? And you're definitely one of those like positive, happy go lucky people that's always like, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm good. And you're going through a whole lot of, your issues and medical issues where it's like,
Yes.
you're like, my back hurts and my feet hurt and this hurts and that hurts and I've got to deal with my diabetes and things, ailments of, physical ailments. And then so how is that with you? You trying to get through the struggle of the things twisting in your mind while you're going through your physical issues.
Yeah. And again, thank you so much for talking about this topic. We all need to not be embarrassed or ashamed to speak of this because we all go through tough times, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a really great topic. I definitely have to find, you know, we all have a path whenever we're down, hopefully, where you try to bring yourself back up, re-energize yourself, make sure you're okay. It's definitely been tough for me, certainly all of this year, but probably from August of last year. So I definitely make sure to, when I'm feeling really down and low, I do keep it to myself. I do my meditations and work with my chakras. I'm an energy worker, so I
Mm-hmm.
really dive deep into that and doing Reiki work. And just I keep trying to find the things that really resonate with me to help me make it through the really tough days where you just want to put the covers over your head and not do anything. And
Yeah.
when I actively do that, when I don't do that, it's a really bad time. When I do those things, then it becomes much better, where I have the energy to talk to my family, my loved ones,
Mhm.
and not feel as down. So
How many of those folks, your loved ones, your family, your friends, those different folks out there have said, well, I wish I could be you. You're
oh
like just
girl,
awesome and living
I
it to
want
the
your life.
fullest.
How many have yours as well, right? I'm sure you hear it. I hear that more than not. I will say that. And I'm like,
Hmm. I think I lost you.
I want to be
Okay.
me.
I lost you for just a
So,
second. Are you back? You're back.
yeah,
Okay. I
I
lost you
think it's
just for
back.
like a
It's
little
saying
blip.
the energy's too
Okay.
real. Okay, so the last thing that I was able to hear was discussing how many people want to be, your life, my life, and
Hmm.
it's like, no, no, you don't, no, you don't,
Yeah.
um, because, and I think that that's fair. I wouldn't want anyone else's life either, because everybody's going through things. Through all the things, trying to find their way the best that they can to go through the things, and I think more of us than not smile and say, "I'm okay,
Hmm.
I'm good."
Yeah.
And when really, even myself, I feel like I'm going to drain someone if I tell them what I'm going through, or if I reach out. And I've been on that path of learning to reach out to my special loved ones and my special group of
Your
friends, to
circle, your love circle,
my
right?
circle. That's right. It's it's
Yeah.
it's a process whenever, um, but that always baffles me when people say, "I want your life." I'm like,
Hmm.
you may want to do some of the things I do,
Hmm.
and to be fair, you can plan it, but
Yeah.
don't
And
ever envy someone. That can
yeah,
really mess with your mind.
it's been like that. So the biggest thing for me is everybody thinks I look fine. You look fine.
Yes,
Well, you look fine. There's nothing wrong with you. What does
you're a
that
strong
mean?
woman.
I'm
Yeah,
not. they
goes
again,
crazy through your head.
they see that those moments when I like threw on my smile, and I put on my coat of armor, shield, whatever you want to call it, and I walked
Yeah,
out the door. There's strength in that. I get it. But there's so many other times that people don't see, where again, crumpled up in the corner, crying like a baby or screaming at the top of my lungs, and I have no idea why. And that's probably the most frustrating part about it, is that when you're going through a lot of these things, it's that we can't, we struggle with why is this happening? Why do I feel this way? And you can't define it, because usually when you can define something, you can actually find a solution for it. And if you can't really define it or understand why it's happening, then you're like, I'm stuck in this place, and it doesn't feel good. You know what I mean?
yes,
So it's
yes,
that struggle that I think that a lot of us deal with. Some of us struggle even further, where it's like they struggle even to wake up or do normal things that they're used to doing, whatever those normal things are. But then these ailments of the mind are so debilitating that it's so difficult to even get to that point where it's like, I can just wake
yes.
up and I feel great, and I'm going to go ahead and tackle the world. And some days are not so much like that. So,
True. And one thing that I think when, even with the "you're strong," because that can really get under my skin if I'm in that a really struggling moment.
mhm,
So here's the deal. I know people have good hearts and people mean well. They're
mhm,
trying to energize you or support you, but I really believe, we have disconnected from each other so much.
mhm,
With we have the computers and the iPads and the iPhones, where I don't know, maybe if we were physically around each other a little more. And I know we're coming out of COVID and trying to do all of that, and I know that affected the world.
yes,
But
yeah,
that's what I see, and it's no fault to anyone, but just an observation that there's a disconnect, even with someone with a good heart trying to be supportive, where I don't know. We gotta all keep working with each other to be there for each other and listen and um, just try to help people. Don't try to trigger them.
Mhm.
Like by saying the wrong thing, like having awareness if you're saying the wrong thing. If you see a certain flinch from someone, like, oh, I didn't mean it that way. I'm so sorry. You must be having a
Yeah.
tough day. I don't know if that makes
Yeah.
any sense, but I'm trying to make sense out of
It's well,
what I have
it's
in my
funny because
head.
you like there's times where I've really gone out of my shell and I don't do this often. Being in Texas is a lot easier to do as opposed to some of the other places. Like I come from New
New
York. It
York.
just yeah, you just don't do it. You don't say hello on the street because people will side eye you and be like, what do you want? And most cities are like that. But I've done this where I walk down the road and there's somebody like super like "Grr," they are angry and I'm like, "Good morning. How are you today?" And it's just because I feel like if you just reached out just that little bit, I mean, that was that moment that maybe it makes their day just a little bit better because they
Ex-
were wrapped up in whatever it was. And then they're just like, oh, okay. Well,
Sometimes that
hello to you
happens.
too.
That's right. Or even just looking at passing someone like, I love your shoes.
Yeah.
Say something honest like that is a beautiful necklace. Something
Mhm.
simple like that. With as far as strangers go, that can
To
really make
connect,
someone's
to
day.
connect. Yeah, to connect,
Yeah.
absolutely. And because yeah, we were talking about perception versus reality and stuff like that. And we were talking earlier about walking a mile in my shoes and how it's like, yo, you don't know what's going on because you haven't walked in my shoes. And we've heard that like 1,001 times, right? And then
Yes.
when it comes to this sort of issue and this topic, I'm like, no, spend 5 minutes inside of my head. You'll be running really in the
Well
other
said.
direction.
They'll be like, dang girl. Okay.
Yes, it will be like, oh my gosh. Oh, Barb is here. Hi, Barb.
Hi, Barb. Mwah. Love some Barb. I miss you, Barb.
I know, I miss you too. Mwah. Hopefully, we'll get to Colorado here eventually and say
Yes, that would be
hi, of
amazing.
course. And then
That's
Trish.
great.
Trish is here too. Hey, hi
Hi,
Trish.
Trish.
And Misty is here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So Misty said I totally did that for her when I met her. So awesome. Well,
She'll be
again, it was one of the. I mean, when so okay. So when
so
we go to
nice.
camp, we're going to talk about camp.
Yes, let's
Let's
do
talk
that.
about
Let's
camp. So when you go to
the
camp,
Church of
you're
Mars.
yeah, the Church of Mars. I know. Let's not go. That's
I'm kidding.
we're going to solidify all the rumors that are out there. No, but literally, when you go to camp, you're thrown into an entire very close knit camping environment with a whole bunch of strangers.
Yeah.
And so you have to, like, I had to overcome a lot of my like anxieties and little like things about how I was feeling because I don't necessarily like to be that person that's like, "Hey, how are you?" Or I'm going to introduce myself, blah blah blah. I'm actually just not that person, and so camp was good for that because you literally had to overextend and kind of go out of your boundary or box and say, I'm going to go ahead and reach out to this person and say hello. Or you saw sometimes some people struggling with issues because
Yeah.
when you're at a camp or like anything else, certain things start surfacing, and we would have talks and different things, and a lot of people started downloading, and then you have people having moments, and they're just like letting everything go, and so you're there for them for that. So yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
was it was I miss camp.
I miss camp too. Or even just sharing, as things go when you travel. Like, oh no, my hotel for when we're done with camp is canceled. I don't know what to do. And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
there's that kind of just there's so much support. No matter
Yeah.
however you need it, we're all trying to, hey, who knows the answer to this question, and or
Hmm.
whatever. Or we would sit down if someone was really having some kind of issue and just support all the way around.
Hmm.
And it was
Hmm.
it was great. I appreciate. I'm glad I had the guts to come up and to
Yes.
talk to a lot of different people. But I saw you and was like, I want to know her. She is awesome. I'm gonna have guts to go say hi.
And we've been friends ever
And
since, and that's
yes,
fantastic. And then, like Misty is saying, she's like, I had such terrible social anxiety.
yes,
But again, being
bless
forced
her.
to kind of get out of your box in a safe environment, because camp was a safe environment. I will
It was.
definitely say that for the people that have never been, that don't know anything about it. It did, yeah. And Trish is saying the same thing. Really helped me open up and face some of my anxieties, because it does.
Yep.
If you're traveling by yourself, a lot of people travel by themselves for the first
Yeah.
time ever, and then
Hmm.
traveled halfway across the world or halfway across the nation, and said, I'm going to go into this safe space and kind of meet all these people who I've never met before in my life, or maybe I only met through, on Facebook or something like that.
Right.
And then I'm going to say hello to them and talk with them and stuff like that. So yeah, it's that is, I just miss it. It was just
I
such
do
good stuff.
too. Yeah, it was a good thing because one of my go-tos, to get out of having a tough time is definitely music. Anyone who knows
Mhm,
me knows I just live, breathe, eat, and breathe music
mhm,
since the time I was born. And so that was great, that just loving music, going to that environment, and it being so positive. So
mhm.
almost everywhere you looked, it's just like wonderful people all around, and we laughed and we made new memories and new friends, and that became a like, oh, I hope we can do that every year. I can look
Mhm.
forward to that and
Yes.
just forget about my problems and go meet my new friends, make even newer friends.
Mhm, mhm,
And it was wonderful. The hiking, being out in that beautiful nature, and
mhm.
I was kind of happy we didn't have cell phone service at most of the time.
Yes,
Not all the time. I
yeah.
was like, but that was also good to disconnect from that and just
Mhm.
live in the beautiful mountains that we were in. Beautiful,
Yes, and that's one of the
healing.
things I think, when you're going through, so sometimes we don't know, about our feelings, where they're
Right.
coming up, how they're surfacing, how to deal with them once they come up. And I feel that men also are even less inclined to talk about their feelings, and probably more likely to internalize everything, which is even more so, because, or worse, more than us, I think. And guys, if you're out there, that prove me wrong, or tell me something different, or talk to us about it.
Please.
Just because, as a female, I know that I'm going to reach out to my girls. I'm going to reach out to my sisters. I'm going to reach out to people. I'm going to talk to my husband, and just talk about it if it's bothering me. Sometimes I don't, and sometimes I get into my little hole, and I'm like a recluse and don't want to talk to anybody. But again, these are these weird feelings that are going on when you've got anxiety and depression, and don't know how to deal with it. But then, so going back to, like, where can we channel these kind of things that are going on, like you talked about the mountains. What makes us happy? The camp made us happy, the mountains make us happy. What are the
Mm-hmm.
things, like, I think when we're talking about anxiety and depression, we have to go back to and think, like, and pull layers back, because it took me a while, like when I was seeing a therapist way back when. It took me a while to figure out. She asked me the question. She's like, what do you remember doing that makes you really happy? And I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, I don't know what makes me happy. I'm miserable right now. And yeah, I had to go back to thinking of what did make me happy. Yes, music, the gym, going to
Mm.
church, art, like all of those things. And like once we had like a good list of things, then it's like, you have to. This is your homework. This is the things that you have to do. You have to go back to spending a short amount of time. I'm not going to define a time frame for you, but I'm going to just say, go back to those things and make sure you do it like a little bit every day. And it did help to kind of like just, get to that space where you're a little bit more grounded and you feel like a little bit better. I don't know. What do you
Totally.
think?
I completely agree. And yeah, so that's wonderful. I think not wonderful, but wonderful you shared that, because
Mhm.
especially when you're going to therapy and they're asking you these questions, it's usually the first thing, I don't know. But it's great to figure out. I don't know how many times I've said I don't know. My friends 20 years ago wanted to hit me over the head. Not really. But like, come on, what do you like?
Mhm.
You do all these other things for other people. What do you like? What do you
Mhm.
want? So, but it is a good journey to go on.
Mhm.
If you don't know, just try things. Painting, it's so cheap to go get some supplies at
Mhm.
the paint supply or whatever. Try painting, and or walking. Again, music. I love music. I can walk to music. Yay!
Mhm.
Now I like walking.
Yeah.
um, it is so important to really have an outlet so that you don't wallow into the just all of that horrible anxiety and
Mhm.
depression. It is
Mhm.
so important to have something to try to get you out of that, out of your funk, and go
Mhm.
and do.
Mhm.
And I'm always exploring as many new things as possible. But I
Mhm.
love energy work. I go to
Mhm.
YouTube. YouTube is great for. There's so many free things on YouTube. You can like do your
Yes.
clear your chakras. If you don't know, if you know about it a lot or you don't know, it's there for free. Or if you have trouble going to sleep, there's that, how many megahertz of this, and it'll put you to sleep in 3 minutes. And by golly, most of the time, it works wonderfully.
Mhm.
I don't know, just exploring around and making sure to keep connecting with things and give yourself time to go and do those things, even when you're not depressed, but especially when you're having
Mhm.
any kind of issue. It's
Mhm.
it's the best thing that you can do so that you don't.
Mhm.
We can all, really just really go under with our minds,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
so it's so important
To get that, yeah, to
to
just figure
absolutely.
out what those things are that that make you happy, that will bring you back to that state of where you feel like I'm safe, I'm grounded, and I'm good. You know what I mean?
Sure thing. Getting together with your girlfriends, trying to plan
Yeah,
things to be like, hey, we need our little energies together, even for a day or two.
yeah.
That's
Even for the people that are the strong females out there who don't want to ask for help. You know who I'm talking to. You.
yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
good. I'm fine. And
Yeah,
it
it's
becomes
true.
that thing that it's just
Yeah.
like I didn't want to. And I've heard it from a bunch of my girlfriends who have gone through similar things, who are dealing with their whatever their issue is at the moment, their anxiety, their depression, their whatever's going on with them. And they're like, well, I just didn't want to reach out, or I just didn't want to bother you. I was like, no, you're never bothering
That's
me,
not the
or
way
you're
it
not
works.
around, or you're not here.
Hmm.
I'm always here. I am always here. This phone, it's all again, we talk about disconnecting. We can never fully disconnect. We're so here,
That's true. It
I'm
is
a
a
phone
beautiful
call
thing.
away. Yeah, I'm a phone call away. I'm a text away. You can knock on my door. I've got Ring. I'll see you.
I'll, I, I'll know you're
You know,
there.
yeah, yes, I'll know you're there. So it's, a thing like it actually broke my heart when I heard that. When I was just like, I didn't realize that this was going on for them.
Yeah.
People don't realize what's going on with me. And they're like, well, I didn't know that was going on for you. Okay, well, if we never talk about it and we don't reach out, then nobody will ever know. You know what I mean? So, and we
Yes.
won't get better that way.
That's
So,
so true. And again, just so much love and respect for you to bring this up. Again, I lost one of my childhood best friends last year, and it was depression and
mhm,
anxiety related. But I wish he would have had the ability just to reach out. Lord knows I was bugging him. I was
mhm,
calling him
mhm.
3 times a day, like, you need to call me back. I knew something
Yeah,
wasn't right.
yeah.
But that made, if this makes sense, that made me realize when I'm having hard times, don't feel like, because I'm going to just dump, I need to reach out to my loved ones.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I don't want to end up like that. I
Mhm.
don't want to, yeah, no, because really, we all have people who love us. And,
Mhm.
and it's so important to just have the courage and
Yeah.
not just, let's stop being ashamed of it or feeling like we're bugging other people. I mean,
Yeah.
don't go
I have I
overboard and
have
truly,
I have your
you know,
lighting saying I don't like to bother anyone. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah,
Um, and I don't like to bother people either, but when I'm at that point when it's like psh, I have to. We got to reach out to somebody, or else, that snap may be more than just a snap. It may be a snap, crackle, and a pop, or a boom, or who knows what.
who knows?
Because
You
we
never
just don't
know.
know exactly. So it's just reach out, reach out, reach out. It's so so important, and we don't talk nearly
Hmm.
enough about exposing this and letting people know it is tough, and as tough as it is, and as hard as it is when we're going through it internally, and equally as hard to reach out to somebody, we still got to do it because that's the only way we can get some release. you know?
Totally. Yeah, I got some ideas floating in my head for us to talk about some other time, really, to really help everyone just make sure they're okay, make sure we're all that, people
Mhm.
are communicating with each other and that no one feels so dire
Mhm.
that, you know, something might go really bad. So,
Or awry. Absolutely.
if you're looking at us, I send you so much love and good energy, and we're gonna make it through this hard world. We weren't put here for it to be easy. So
Right.
let's walk through it. Let's walk on these fire coals of life and just
Mhm. Mhm.
rock it, figure it out along the way.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, Misty says guilty, and Trish is like, I would like that. I would like, to be able to reach out. Definitely reach out, please.
Yeah.
Again, making time for self-care, taking the you time for you, figuring out what that you time looks like, because for everybody's going to be different. Because what makes me
Totally.
happy is not going to be this. I love reading books. I always loved reading books, and then I was like, man, I haven't picked up a book in forever. Why have I not done that? And then, of course, I was like, all right, so now I read books, and I do try to take out that time to do that. Now that it's nicer out, I can actually go swim in the water, which is great because
Hmm.
that relaxes me too. So just finding those things to take care of you, and just know that everybody is walking a different path when you see them.
Yes. Everybody is. And again, don't judge the book by the cover. Either way, someone
Yeah.
can be smiling and doing this and
Mhm.
really struggling inside, and just keep connecting with people that you're drawn to connect to. And, um, you know, and don't
Yeah.
want to be anybody else. Everybody, we have to want to be our own selves. It's
Mhm.
okay to look at someone and go, wow, that's cool. You get to
Mhm.
do this and you get
Mhm.
to do that. But just know there's no one better than your own self.
Mhm.
Love
Yeah.
number one first, and nurture
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. And we're all going through different things. I know Yolita's just saying, she's like, it's, oh, wait, that's Barb. Sorry.
Oh,
Barb says, love you too. Strong
okay.
women always take on everything and then forget about self care. Very true.
She knows. Another
Absolutely.
strong
Very
woman
true.
right there.
Yeah. And it's just, we don't want to do, we don't want to do anything. And then, same thing. Yolita's like, I have to start doing things for me. It's really hard on her end. And I totally get that. And she's another strong woman
Exactly.
that doesn't want to like bother anybody or
That's
whatever.
right.
But yes, start doing things for you. Start taking that time out for you, that self care, um, that you time, whatever it's going to be that makes you happy. Again, it's
Hmm.
so different for everybody. But if it seems like it's too much, reach out. I know that we talked about you have some great places online to reach out with that.
Yes.
To reach out for with or without insurance, that you can actually tap into if you're needing that. If you don't want to be that bother, which I'll be like, come here, let me
Come
come
on, I
here.
got you, girl.
You're not gonna bother me. Come here.
That's
So
right.
so yeah, no, it's never like that. And I reach out as much as I can, to
Yeah,
folks
you
just
do.
out of the blue, just because, again, you never know what is going on in people's day and people's lives and stuff like that. But some places online are BetterHelp,
Yes.
Cerebral, Talkspace. There's Best
Hmm.
Online Therapy Services. And then, so you were also talking about Calm. So have you actually used Calm before? Because I have
Yes,
not. Okay.
I
So tell
have.
us
So
about it.
they have awesome. They have it's free in every app store. They do
Hmm.
have a free version, and I haven't checked it recently, so I will update that if it's not. But I've had the free version. Then you have a paid version. But I mean, everything that you can think of where you listen to rain for 30 seconds. I think everyone has had to seen that commercial where it's like the little wheel. It's just listen to rain. If you're having a hard time, take a deep breath. Like if you're at work and just you're ready to just, punch a coworker or whatever, don't do that though. Go to
Yeah,
calm and
don't.
just don't do that. But we know if someone pushes you too far, you can even just take 30 seconds out,
Hmm.
just 30 seconds out. But there's so many different forums in there.
Hmm. Hmm.
So they do have guided meditations.
Hmm.
They do have sleep help, night stories, you name it. Just go check it out. I mean, don't let me ruin it. Go check it out. It's wonderful.
Uh-huh.
And I promise you there's something on there to help you take a deep breath and just reset.
Hmm.
I really like Calm a lot. My niece, I was so happy when she told me she's like 20 years old. I'm like, you use Calm? And she said, oh yeah, I don't go anywhere without it. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh yay, I'm not just the old lady that uses Calm. You go young youth of the world. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that was the
But
other
yeah,
that was the other thing that we were talking about. The younger folks are so overstimulated with so much stuff now that
oh yeah,
they are, I think, a little bit more open to talk. Maybe
which is
maybe I'm not, again,
wonderful.
maybe I'm speaking out of terms, but I know with even with my own child who's, in his 20s is a lot more open to talking. I was not this open to talking with my parents. And he is much more
Mm-mm.
open to talking about his feelings and the things that are going on in his life to me than I was with my parents. Absolutely not. So I think that
Wonderful.
with even though they're like overstimulated and they have all these things going on, they're also a little bit more. Um, they've seen a little bit more as far as like where we have missed it sometimes, where we're just like we don't know what's going on, and they're just like, oh no, we're definitely we have a label for it, and we're going to use all of these other things. And meanwhile, the rest of us are like, what was that again?
That is so
I'm
impressive.
still
I mean,
trying to
that's so
figure it out.
I know I can handle it myself, and I've worked on that in therapy for so much of
Mhm.
my life, seriously. So that's wonderful when again, my niece, well, yeah, and me and my friends talk and we make sure we're okay. And I'm like, well,
Mhm.
that's just fabulous because, we are all humans. We are all humans.
Mhm.
And we need to be there for each other, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is a check-in. This is a check-in, you guys. I mean, I think the reason I started with sipping with Sue back in 2020, just me going live as a mental health check. I didn't call it that, but it was a health check.
That's
And I had a
awesome.
glass of wine in my hand and was like, "Hey, how's everybody doing? How's, your life in your neck of the woods, and how's things, how's a little snapshot of your life wherever you're at, because we had COVID and every place had COVID differently.
Yeah,
It's the same. It's the same. Everybody's walking different their own path differently and doing different things, and where they're at, I'll meet you there. You know what I mean? So it's okay to be broken sometimes. It's okay to be the one that's going to lift you up sometimes. I mean,
that's
it
right.
it just
Makes,
depends. But
yep,
we're here as,
that's right.
hey, you guys, health check. If you're not doing so well,
That's
you know please check in, let us know.
check in. And when you get better, help someone else. Pass it
Yeah,
along,
yeah,
you know?
absolutely,
Beautiful.
absolutely. Awesome. I love you, girl. Thank you so much
I
for
love
coming
you.
on. We've got all of what we
Anytime.
talked about, at least these, because I don't have the web links because that was Brandy coming up with these great web links. But for BetterHelp, Cerebral, Talkspace, and for Calm, we'll make sure that we have those links as soon as the show's finished, and we'll put it in the feed for you. So
Certainly.
thank you so much, love.
Thank you so much. You're wonderful. Appreciate you.
Oh, I love you too. And for everybody else, have a great weekend. You have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, you guys.